Hello and welcome to Low Budget Gaming and welcome to another fast Descendant video. So while we wait for some juicy content to drop in the game, I thought I'll finish out some of the guns that I was already working on. And so I have the EXCAVA assault rifle today. Now the EXCAVA was part of the Season 1 Battle Pass. You cannot currently farm the gun in this game. However, with the launch of Episode 2 on the 13th of March, this gun will be available with Descendant, so you can get it then. Now when it first came out, it was okay, but a little underwhelming, so none of us really used it. However, with the recent updates to the core system and the gun getting a fixed element, electric, this gun has become a lot more interesting, a lot more usable, and the cores are very nice on this gun, so we can make it a lot more powerful. So now in the later stages of the void erosion points, especially stages 28 and 29, where the enemies are the toxic type, weak to electric, this gun is very handy in the hands of Gley or any other Descendant if you want to use it. However, keep in mind the dagger, the last dagger with Gley is still better in my opinion. But this is very good, very close. And so if you wanted another option, this is a good gun. So what we have here is a gun with decent firearm attack, decent electric attack on the gun itself. Fire rate is reasonable. Where it suffers is in the hit rate and the hit damage. Crit hit rate and crit hit damage are very low on this gun. Weak point is okay. Hip fire accuracy and aim shot accuracy is very good for an assault rifle. Now the unique ability is kind of interesting. What we have is, I'll just quickly read this and then I'll show you in the lab what it does. Hitting an enemy grants the unique effect voltage charge. When voltage charge reaches max stacks, it changes to the unique effect energy grenade. So basically when you shoot at the enemy, you are building up stacks of voltage charge. Okay. When you get to 15 stacks, it turns into an energy grenade. Okay. And basically you have two options. You can either fire the energy grenade or you can sort of keep it in the gun and get extra crit rate. Okay, so what happens is when you build up the 15 stacks, you get one energy grenade. You build up another 15 stacks, you get a maximum of 3. Each stack gives you 5. So your gun will get up to 18% crit damage. So 15 here and the 3 already in the gun, so you'll get 18% crit rate. Okay. So now this is only when you are hip firing. If you are ADSing, what happens is when you hit 15 stacks, it shoots out the grenade. Okay, and then it does damage to the enemy. This is called voltage accumulation. It reduces their electric resistance. So let me just show you how it looks. That will make more sense. So let me just make sure I have ammo. So now I'm going to hip fire. Okay, now next to Inez's head, you'll see the 15 stacks build up, and then it'll turn into 1 energy grenade, 2 and 3. Okay, so first have a look here, 3% crit rate. Okay, now you can see the 15, another 15, another 15. Okay, now you see 18% crit rate, and you see the gun also opens up. This is the 15 stacks and the grenade ready. Now if you ADS, it'll shoot the grenades and closes. Okay, so if you are hip firing, it'll get to 15, it'll shoot the grenade, and then it'll build up 1 to 15 again. So you'll have some here, it'll get to a little bit more, shoot the grenade, and that'll go. So basically up to you how you want to use it. Do you want to hip fire with this or you want ADS? Now I usually ADS, so for me it's difficult to remember to hip fire most guns. Tend to go with ADSing. So what I've done is I've made 2 builds with that in mind. So first up, what we have is the hip fire build. Now like I said, because we are going to build up a little more crit damage, I'm using concentration priority just to get a little more damage from the crit rates. So basic setup here: rifling reinforcement, action and reaction, fire rate. Then we have 2 mods for the weak point. We have electric enhancement, electric priority. Now the gun has a lot of electric, so we are just leaning into that. I'll show you the codes later. We have 1 for ammo, expand weapon charge, and 1 for reload time, because the reload isn't the best here, and with concentration priority we are increasing it a little more. 2 seconds is reasonable for an assault rifle. Now the other build I have is for aiming down sights. So if you just want to aim down sights, not worry about hip firing and all of that, you can skip the concentration priority, because again you are not focusing on the crit rate. You can go instead with charge amplification, so you'll reduce your crit damage completely, but you'll get a lot more firearm attack. So again, up to you whichever method you want. Pretty much the same. You can also, since we are not losing the extra time with the reload, you can swap this out for something else. The gun has quite a bit of recoil, so you could put a mod to reduce the recoil. So let me just remove these guys and I'll show you the recoil. So let's just stand here. Hang on, let me just reload a new. Let's start here. Okay, so I'll aim here and watch the recoil. I'm not pulling down the mouse or doing anything to control the recoil. Okay, just holding down the left mouse button. So it sort of goes a little towards the right and then kicks to the right, keeps going up, 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 and you can see here it sort of goes like this, like this, like this, all the way up to here between these two pipes here. Okay. Now, if we put a recoil mod, the best one we have is vibration absorption. So let's put that instead of the reload. And now let's do the same thing. Remember, last time we went up to here. See, already the early stage is a lot more easier to control. Still kicks to the right quite a bit and goes up, but you can see it's nowhere near as bad. So it went up to sort of here. Previously it was going up to here. So yeah, a little more manageable. So again, up to you if you can handle it. If you're on keyboard and mouse, you don't really need to worry too much about this. You can just go with the standard recoil, or you may want to add another ammo mod if you want rounds per magazine. So put maybe support ammo, and this way you'll get even more ammo. So that is basically the setup. Now let's have a quick look at the weapon options. So I went with firearm attack, critical hit damage, weak point damage, and electric attack. Okay. And for the cores, we just went all electric. Electric in the 2 free slots. In the element, we went with electric, of course. And now in the 2 green slots, I went with 1 fire rate and 1 rounds per magazine so that we get a lot of ammo in the gun. So if you see here, we have 118 bullets, which is fantastic. And we have 1069 crit rate and 160,000 electric damage. So we are nearly doing 200,000. Remember, we are not doing a lot of crit damage. So we want to do as much damage as possible directly. And we will still crit occasionally if we are hip firing, we'll do a little more crit damage. So let me just go back to the hip fire setup here. You can see we have a 3 times crit damage, and this will be 18. So 1 in every, let's say 5-6 bullets will crit. So you'll still do a reasonable amount of damage. So this is basically the setup if you want to use this gun with any Descendant. Now, in case you want to use it with Gley, the only change you really need to make is instead of the rounds per magazine core, put another fire rate core. Now, we already have 1069. A second one should take it over 1300 or something. So again, depending on where you want the fire rate to be, because fire rate, there have been a lot of discussions around it. Some people want to play it safe and go around 1000. Some go up to 1300. Some are going even beyond that. So wherever you are comfortable at, you have to play around with it. And for me, 1000 to 1300 is where I feel it's good. With Gley, I may go a little higher. So this is basically the setup. Now, if you want to use it with Gley, you can drop all the ammo and the reload mods and put something like mental focus instead. That is like the only change you really need to do, and that way you'll get a lot more out of Gley. So we have Inez here. So yeah, you just need to put more. You can see the fire rate goes down with mental focus, and the rounds per magazine is still 90 even without any ammo mods here. So yeah, so basically if you are using with any Descendant other than Gley, put ammo mods, put a reload mod if you want, or a recoil reduction. If you like hip firing, yeah, just use this sort of thing. If you are ADSing, put charge amplification instead of concentration priority, and you should be good to go. So yeah, that is a quick look at the EXCAVA. I think it's a pretty decent gun, especially if you reduce the recoil. The hip fire is pretty good on the gun. It's just a tiny bit of recoil. So you can hip fire, you can ADS. It's a big chunky gun, but it actually handles better than it looks. But yeah, that's it for this one for the EXCAVA. I think it's in a good spot currently. Like I said, depending on whether you want to use it with Gley or with other Descendants, you can just swap out one of the green rounds per magazine core and put another fire rate if you want to use it with Gley and in the later void erosion purge stages. So yeah, that's it for this one. Thank you for watching. See you next time.